Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are completely reframing our approach to heart health. I know you all in our health and wellness study group already have a solid foundation, so we're going to skip the basics and dive straight into the deep end. If you're ready to really take control of your cardiovascular destiny, you are in the exact right place. We're looking at some truly groundbreaking science on longevity and natural disease prevention, and we're doing it by focusing on the actual root causes that modern science is uncovering. Here's a quick look at our game plan for today. First, we're going to bust some cardiovascular myths and hunt down the real culprits. Second, we'll explore intermittent fasting. Third, the sheer power of omega-3s. And finally, we'll actually build the ultimate science-backed anti-clotting dinner. Let's get right into it. Let's kick things off with a pretty massive paradigm shift. What actually triggers these dangerous cardiovascular events in the first place? When we think of a heart attack, we usually picture cholesterol slowly building up like sludge in a pipe until it just blocks everything up, right? Well, the latest research is telling us a very different story. Get this, 80 to 90% of heart attacks and up to 91% of strokes are actually caused by clots, not just that soft cholesterol plaque we're always warned about. This totally changes how we need to defend our hearts. We aren't just fighting cholesterol. We're fighting a highly specific, incredibly dangerous type of clotting. All right, that brings us to Section 1, the hidden heart disease culprits, and why we absolutely have to move beyond just looking at cholesterol. Look, there is a world of difference between a normal clot and a dysfunctional one. A normal clot, that's a lifesaver. You cut your finger, proteins form a clot to stop the bleeding, and then it dissolves quickly, boom, done. But a dysfunctional clot, the kind that causes heart attacks, it's completely different. It hardens into these dense, matted strings of spaghetti, the kind that will definitely ruin a lot more than just your dinner. So what on earth turns a life-saving clot into a deadly one? Honestly, it's a perfect storm of modern dietary and lifestyle culprits. It usually starts with a leak somewhere, maybe bleeding gums or a leaky gut, often triggered by gluten, refined sugars, and starches. That leak allows microscopic pieces of pathogenic bacteria, called endotoxins, to just slip right into your bloodstream. Toss in the corrosive, rusting effect of industrial seed oils, plus an excess of free iron, and you've got a massive problem. See, while our cells need oxygen, pathogens absolutely thrive on free iron. When you have high iron and these hidden microbes floating around, they feast, they multiply, and they trigger that deadly, spaghetti-like clotting cascade. Now, here is a piece of empowering knowledge that is absolutely crucial to understand. If you have these hidden triggers brewing in your body, severe stress or a deep grief can temporarily spike your clotting risk by up to 2,000%. 2,000! That's exactly why someone can seemingly suffer a heart attack out of nowhere after a highly stressful event. The stress is essentially the match that lights the gasoline already sitting in the arteries. So, how do we heal this? How do we clean up that systemic damage? Let's jump to Section 2, intermittent fasting, longevity, and tapping into your body's built-in repair system. The secret weapon here is autophagy. Think of autophagy as your biological cleanup crew. It's your body's natural mechanism for seeking out damaged proteins, faulty mitochondria, and general cellular junk, and recycling it. The accumulation of all that cellular garbage is what stops us from living long, healthy lives. Autophagy sweeps it all away. But here's the catch, right? Autophagy doesn't just magically turn on when you're snacking 6 times a day on a standard diet. By practicing intermittent fasting, and specifically those periodic 48 to 72-hour prolonged fasts, you drop your insulin resistance. You're giving your body the uninterrupted time it desperately needs to trigger this deep cellular repair. It forces your system to stop running on toxic sugars, switch over to burning clean fat, and literally clean house for true longevity. Okay, so fasting clears out the bad stuff, but we still need to build up the good. Moving right along to Section 3, the sheer power of omega-3s. Think of this as putting on your cardiovascular armor. The science is crystal clear on this one. Omega-3s are ridiculously powerful anti-clotting agents. And why? Because they directly counteract the inflammatory, corrosive damage from our modern omega-6 heavy diets, all those industrial seed oils we talked about earlier. Omega-3s naturally thin the blood and dramatically cool down the inflammation inside your arterial walls. To put this into perspective on your plate, wild-caught salmon is the undisputed king here. Just 3 ounces of wild-caught salmon delivers a massive 2,000 milligrams of those blood-thinning omega-3s. Compare that to cod, which only gives you about 171 milligrams. Plus, salmon gives you all these protective fats while keeping that pathogen-feeding free iron relatively low. It's a total win-win. All right, we've covered the science and the culprits. Let's bring it all together in Section 4, the ultimate anti-clotting meal. Time to take all this biology right to the dinner table. So, how do we build this heart-defending masterpiece? We do it layer by layer. We combine the healthy proteins and fats from our wild-caught salmon with specific bitter greens like arugula and beets. We throw in fermented foods like sauerkraut and crushed garlic. And finally, we top it off with polyphenol-rich treats like dark chocolate and tea. But the fascinating part is exactly why this combo is so protective. What is absolutely mind-blowing here is that every single bite acts like targeted medicine. Arugula and beets deliver a massive boost of nitric oxide, which opens up your blood vessels. Real extra virgin olive oil is loaded with polyphenols that actually bind to that dangerous free iron and neutralize it. Garlic is a powerful antipathogenic that kills off those hidden microbes while naturally thinning your blood. And just a bit of sauerkraut provides lactic acid to neutralize gut endotoxins, plus a ton of vitamin K2 to push calcium out of your arteries and into your bones where it actually belongs. And it gets even better. This exact combination of food is a precision strike against something called biofilms. A biofilm is essentially a microscopic igloo. It's a colony of hidden pathogens that literally build a protective calcium shell over themselves right inside your inflamed artery walls, just hiding from your immune system. The massive dose of vitamin C from the sauerkraut, mixed with the allicin from the crushed garlic, aggressively breaks down those biofilms and stops that calcification right in its tracks. Finally, we wrap up this whole defense protocol with dessert and some movement. A small piece of 85 to 90% dark chocolate gives you more polyphenols to bind up excess iron, and it's loaded with magnesium to relax your heart muscles. Follow that up with a 20-minute post-meal walk. But here's the trick. Strictly breathe through your nose. Nasal breathing dramatically spikes your nitric oxide levels, enhances oxygen delivery, and the physical exercise itself actively helps your body safely dissolve any small clots. The science is incredibly clear, right? The power to defend your cardiovascular system is literally sitting right there on your plate. You absolutely do not have to be at the mercy of hidden inflammation and dysfunctional clots. So, I'll leave you with this. What single ingredient or habit from this explainer are you going to add to your routine tonight to take back control of your longevity?